Are you a professional pillow fighter? Or a 9-to-5 low-cost time travel agent? Or maybe real estate sales on Mars is your profession? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is you do, however complex or intricate, Monday.com can help you organize, orchestrate, and make it more efficient. Monday.com is the one centralized platform for everything work-related. And with Monday.com, work is just easier. Monday.com, for whatever you run. Go to Monday.com to learn more.
Well, I don't see the point in waiting any longer. So let's bring her out. The star attraction, the one you came to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
Trevor Moore. I can't stop watching you. I love you so much. You are so fucking talented.
Oh,
We have been singing, and the gays got married.
Oh, yeah.
For like 3 days nonstop. Everything we do, we're like, and she made a salad, and the gays got married. And I can't even tell you, I'm so excited to interview you.
Oh, thank you.
Your life is fucking fascinating. Everyone, by the way, I'm introducing one of the greatest members of an incredible sketch comedy group called The Whitest Kids You Know, musician, comedian, fucking genius. Trevor Moore is here, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God. Thank you.
I don't get excited like this, but like, I just, the thing about you that I love so much is you took and we're going to get to your background. We're going to get to your back because we always start, I do these like deep interviews, but you took what you knew or what you were taught, you creatively resisted. You resisted in the most creative way possible, the most palatable way possible. And it's genius. I mean, it's just, I can't.
Very sweet. Thank you very much.
Oh, please. Everyone says Judy Gold is the sweetest person in the entire, but so Trevor Walton Paul.
There's no Walton. That's a Wikipedia thing.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Fuck. I found that late. I do all these interviews and I was like, wait, no one ever said Trevor Walton Paul. But then I'm like, I'll say it tomorrow. Fuck shit. Fuck ass. Fuck Wikipedia. I'm never looking at them again.
Yeah. They're pretty good. They're mostly accurate.
Please. They fucking hacked my page.
Someone really?
Took the most horrible picture, took out all my credits. And it's like, and I try to get someone to fix it. And they're like, oh, that's $2,500. It's like, fuck you, you fucking asshole.
Oh, that's it's like a scam. It's a blackmail thing.
Yeah,
like they pay.
I think someone who hates me did it. I tried to, like you only certain people can change it. Even you can go in and try to change. I don't know. It's such a weird fucking. So fuck it. That's why I never use Wikipedia.
So I'm just gonna start saying my middle name's Walton because I'll never get it changed.
Yeah, just say it. Say your middle name's John Boy. Trevor John Boy.
Trevor John Boy.
John Boy Moore.
I like that better than Paul,
John
actually.
Boy All right.
Trevor John Boy.
Yeah. All right. Here's many of the reasons I love you. You're 6'6".
Yeah.
And we're the tallest. My son is 6'8".
Nice.
I'm 6'2".
So I have a 3-year-old, and he is he's what they call the over 99 percentile.
Yes, I had that.
And the best we can figure out, because like there's all these things
I did that.
And we figure he's going to be about 6'8".
Now, my son plays basketball. He played Division I basketball, and
nice.
I think he's moving to Division III. I can't even. We'll discuss that at another time. But all through his basketball career, the various coaches, always asked how tall the mother is.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And what's your height?
6'2", but I was 6'3", but I had a knee replacement and I'm old. Yeah.
Interesting.
How tall is your wife?
My wife is not that tall, but
doesn't matter. Yeah.
But her dad is also 6'6".
Oh, there you go.
So
there's a psychological thing there, Trevor.
Yeah, probably.
What's her dad's name?
It's Trevor. Isn't that weird?
No, it isn't.
No, it's not.
I hate you so much. You were born April 4th, 1980.
Yep.
And 2 months after that, 2.5 months, I was graduating high school. So go fuck yourself.
Oh, okay. But that's the time to graduate high school, though.
Oh my God.
Didn't you hit the jackpot on When to Be Alive? Like
I did, except for AIDS. Except for AIDS.
But you didn't get it.
I didn't get it, but so many people I knew got it. And yeah. And I'm gay, so it was like, you know, I don't know. It's really, it was a sad time. But
would you rather have been? Would you rather be alive now,
no.
like be young now, or
N-O spells no? I mean, we had none of this fucking phone, like your video about the computer and the Coke. You know?
Yeah.
Is so fucking, I can't with you. Anyway, the thing was that we knew how to be bored. We knew how to, we're bored, so we have to create something. And you know, here's the other thing. And then we're getting into your childhood. Okay. Is that I noticed, and I don't know, my kids are 19 and 24, but I noticed that. So when we used to buy music, right, which was a huge thing, we'd go buy albums and we would take the cellophane off and we would sit there and you would listen to the entire album sitting on your fucking floor, you know, just nonstop. There's no albums anymore. It's singles, okay? Right. And the kids don't listen to the whole song. There's so many times I'm driving in the car and, you know, we have this stupid rule that the driver gets to pick the music, which I fucking never would have fucking, you know, made now when they both drive.
Yeah, we do a rotation. Everyone.
That's good.
Yeah. Try to sneak that in. See if you can switch it to a rotation.
Yeah. And so I noticed that my kids don't even listen to the end of the song. We used to read the liner notes. It was like every activity was like 100%. There was no distractions. It was like, I am going and listening to this album. I was a music major. I would sit at the piano. I would practice them. But then when I was done, I would go find something. You know, it wasn't like I had a phone there or something pinging at me. And and, you know, the drugs were not as good then, but it was a really free to be, you know, look, people were pro, you know, abortion. People were, you know, it was a hard time for being gay, but it was, you know, women's rights. People were really active. I don't know. It was really like the 70s were fucking, I mean, it was shitty and it was great, but it wasn't like this. This fucking sucks.
You know, I remember like we were shooting the first season of Whitest Kids when the iPhone came out. And I remember like I waited in line like everybody to get it. But I remember the day before it came out, we were shooting. And, you know, in between scenes, you'd be like joking and like everybody would be talking. You'd be talking with the grips, the sound guys, like you'd be doing that. And then I remember the day the iPhone came out, the next day, everybody had it. Right. And no one was talking. Right. It happened overnight. And everyone was just looking at their phones. And I remember thinking like, oh, wow, this thing is so cool that everyone is just like fascinated with like what it can do. And it was like, and I remember being like, I wonder how many days this is going to be until like it wears off. And it never wore off.
Fucking wore off. It got worse.
It was overnight, the change. Like,
Trevor. I mean, I remember we had a black and white TV. Okay. I remember when remotes came out. I remember when answering machines came out. I remember when tape recorders came out.
Wow.
And each one of these things was like the fact that like when I got a Walkman, I was like, wait, I can listen to music in my own head at the beach, or, you know, I was
that's
like
amazing.
Shocked. I was shocked.
Yeah.
That I could, you know.
That had to be a sea change, like the Walkman.
It was, I mean, imagine I ran the marathon in 90, whatever. And I was a runner for a long time. And they don't let you run races with headphones on or they didn't then, because it's dangerous, you know? But all those people before me who just ran for 20 fucking miles with nothing, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just really, really crazy.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with a Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Okay, we're going to your childhood. You are the son of Christian folk rock singers.
Started folk, then in the 80s it became kind of rock kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was folk and then rock.
Yeah, folk and then rock.
You really grew up on a tour bus and you went to 5 different schools.
Yeah, I never went to a school more than 2 years because I kept getting like kicked out of things.
Oh, I thought it was because your family was on tour. Was it? It was because you...
Disciplinary problems. It was, but I went to really conservative, like Christian schools. So I would get I remember like one year, like they after my first year at one school, they initiated a demerit policy where they were like, if you get 100 demerits in the course of a year, you're out, you're expelled. And then they called my parents in like October, and they were like, "We're 1 month in, and he has 50. So you should probably figure out another school for him." Like, so. Wait,
did you get 1 demerit per incident, or were some incidents like 5 demerit? Oh, that's a 5 demeriter.
Some of them were 5. Like it was that's what it was. It was like you could get up to like 5. You could get up to, but it was so they were. So I had to switch schools a lot, but I don't think I did anything that was actually like worse than maybe any other kid that just like didn't care about school.
They wouldn't have given a shit.
They wouldn't have even known who I was.
Right.
Like I would just be a number. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were born in Montclair, New Jersey, right? Where I grew up right around there. How long did you live in Montclair before you moved?
Not long, like 3 years. And then,
do you remember anything?
You know what I remember? I have my first memory ever is going to the grocery store in New Jersey. Yeah. And I was in a wagon, and I saw the sidewalk was cracked, and there was plants growing through the sidewalk. Yeah. And it depressed me. My first memory is being depressed. And I was depressed in that the plants were destroying the sidewalk. Right. Which is like the wrong way to take that. Right. You should be depressed that like, oh, look what we've done. There's a
sidewalk on top of the plants. Yeah.
We paved over this beautiful natural thing. Right. But it went the other way with me where I was kind of like, oh, these plants are fucking it up for like, like this is going to bump the wagon, kind of thing.
Right. Wow. That's funny. And then why did they move? They moved to Charlottesville, or they moved to...
We moved about 30 miles outside of Charlottesville. Okay. My mom's family was there. So my mom is like one of 8 kids. And my grandfather basically had a farm, and he gave all the kids houses around his farm.
So it was like a compound.
Yeah. So it was like all...
You had I read you had 16 or 17 cousins. I
had like 17 cousins. All of them were boys.
What?
Yeah. And except for one, which was my sister. I had like the only sister. And then, and we were all within 3 years of each other. So we basically...
fucking way.
Yeah. I grew up in like a posse of
a cult.
No, the family thing wasn't that much of a cult, but it was actually really fun because it was, my grandfather was a farmer, and the cows would get out, and he'd call all the grandchildren and be like, get them in, and we'd all take our bikes and round them up. So I actually got to live a childhood that was from a couple decades earlier.
Before. Yeah. So wait, but you weren't homeschooled because that could have been a total, you know.
I would have ended up weird.
Yeah. Because you're so normal. And then, so did you all go to the same school?
No, we didn't go to the same school. Like my parents sent me to like a Christian school. It was like 30 miles in town.
Were they all as religious as your parents?
No, my parents were the most religious, I feel. Yeah.
Was that because of your father?
I think so. I think because he was the son of a pastor.
Right.
And so, yeah, they were definitely the most conservative, the most religious of the group. I mean, they were all religious, but my parents were a little more so.
So when they went on tour, you said you went with them, but I'm sure they had to live in babysitters for you, correct?
I had a nanny, on the road nanny that would come with us, who was like a fan of theirs.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
What was her name?
Sue.
Did you like her?
I loved her. She was great. So up until around the age of 8, we were on the road a lot. During
the school year.
Oh yeah. So they would thankfully they would put me in a real school. And then when we were on the road, they would get all of my lesson plans. So I was kind of half homeschooled, but I also could have like a group of friends that when we were not on the road, I would go back with. So that was nice. But yeah, a lot of it was just like Sue and my mom, like going through the lesson plans that they were going through at school on the bus.
So what was the name of their group?
They were Mickey and Becky Moore.
That was it.
That was it. It was like a Sonny and Cher kind of thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then.
And I had a song that I played with them.
No way.
Yeah, I sang a song with them until I quit. When I was like, I forget how old. I was like maybe 5 or something. So there would be a part in the show where they would say like, oh, we have a song and, baby Trevor will come up. And I would come up and I would sing. It was called I'm Just a Little Boy.
Right.
And one time I didn't want to do it, because I vaguely.
How did it go?
It was like, I'm just a little boy who can change the world, change the world, change the world. And I didn't want to do it. And so they were like, now it's part of the show. I wanted to go back to the hotel. Like there was something I wanted to watch on TV or whatever. I don't know. I don't remember what it was, but they were like, it's time for, Trevor to come up. And I was like, I yelled from the crowd because he used to come out of the crowd. Right. I was like, I don't want to go. And
wait, hold on. Someone's at the door. I'm sorry. It better not be the chair delivery.
Are you getting a chair? What kind of chair are you getting?
We ordered a chair from West Elm.
Okay.
In October. Okay. Oh. And then they were like, yeah, it's going to be there like December 16th. And we're like, okay, a little late, but whatever. Then they're going to be like, oh, we're delayed because of COVID. It's going to be there January, blah, blah.
COVID really hit the chair industry hard.
Yeah. And then I'm waiting for it to be delivered. I'm calling. They're like, oh, whatever, it's on its way. And then, I don't know, February, I'm in New York and I get a call saying that there is, it's from Puerto Rico. And they're saying that, hello, I'm calling from West Elm in Puerto Rico. Your chair was delivered here by mistake. Do you want to cancel the order? Or do you want to, and I'm sure I'll get in trouble for the accent, so go fuck yourself.
I think, I don't know why accents are not cool anymore.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
Are we pretending we all talk the same?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I know. So, I call up, I called Puerto Rico. They're like, yeah, we have your chair. And I'm like, I want my chair. They're like, all right, we'll have to reorder it. I'm like, go fuck yourself. It's already fucking 5 months, you fuckheads. Anyway, So they reordered it. So this is October. Let's see. So October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. 9 months. It's the fucking baby chair. Okay. So, okay. So here's my question. All right. So they would call you out of the audience. So you would would you have to sit there the whole fucking time and watch the show?
Yeah.
They planted you in the audience just when your time was.
No, I'd sit there. I've seen so many concerts, Judy. I would sit there through the whole thing, and then it was my time to come out. And there was this. So when I quit, it was like they called me out. I said I wasn't going to go, and then
you did it right there at the concert.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to do it anymore.
How old were you?
5 or 6. And they were like, okay, well, are you sure? And I'm like, yep, I'm not coming up. And then they were like, all right. And they moved on. And then for some reason, which I don't know, I'm 5 or 6.
Right.
I got out of my chair. I walked up on stage.
Right.
And I was like, I want to go home. And they were like, this is not the time. And I was like, I don't want to do this. And I don't want you guys to do this. Like, I want to go home. And my mom took me backstage and spanked me.
This is during the concert.
During the concert. She spanked me. But she left her mic on. So I remember being spanked and a round of applause. Like it was. Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No. That was like it was a standing ovation because this was a real spare the rod, spoil the child.
Right.
So like that's.
God.
That was that.
And how many people would be at their concerts?
I have no idea. Like, as a kid, it seemed like a massive amount. Yeah. But they would play. It was usually churches, sometimes bigger than that, but it was big churches. Like it was, I'd say maybe less than 1,000, but like hundreds of people would be there.
That's still amazing. Yeah. And did they ever open for anyone big?
Yeah, I mean, you remember Peter, Paul, and Mary?
No, I never. Of course.
Yeah. So Paul produced their albums.
No way.
Yeah, so like they would, but they would, on the Christian circuit, they would open for like big names, and we would do festivals and things like that. So
wasn't Paul Jewish?
He was, I believe.
Yeah. Look that up. I'm looking that up because I don't have a fucking. Let's see, Peter Yarrow. Wait, Peter might have been Jewish.
What is the bell?
Paul Stuckey. Oh, it's a Jewish bell.
Oh, okay.
Well, let's see. Born in Manhattan, blah, blah, blah. His parents. Yeah. So it's actually Peter was the Jew. Okay. All right. So that's fucking fascinating. So your sister is younger than you, right?
Yep. 3 years.
Is she Christian and into it? Did they get one kid or no?
No. So this was a great thing for me, which is like when I started doing my comedy and started being on television, like I was getting a lot of flack from them. Like,
yes, I read that. Yeah.
And but then my sister, what she did was like as soon as she turned 18, she joined a Buddhist commune. So she like left, joined. So then she actually like took the brunt of it, like because I'm on deep cable doing whatever I'm doing, but she's like a Buddhist hippie.
Right, so. I love that shit. So okay, at any point in your childhood, were your aunts and uncles like Becky, what the fuck are you doing? These kids shouldn't be on a tour bus. And come on, no one ever said like you're out of your fucking minds.
I have no idea. I mean, not that it trickled down to me that I heard. I had, I mean, this is the South, so I had like, my uncles were all crazy, like in their own regard, in like a fun way, but like like to play with explosives and things like that.
Right. So were they all like? Was everyone like a red Republican?
Yes. Yeah. Very, very, very red. Very well. Charlottesville is now famous for, which is kind of ironic because like Charlottesville was like the one blue city. It's a college town, like in a sea of red. But now
like
it's
Bloomington, Indiana. Yeah,
exactly. But now it's become synonymous with like Nazis.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking amazing. Okay.
Yeah, when it was happening, it was like horribly. Tragic what happened, but like you never see your hometown on CNN. And so I'm sitting there with my wife and we're watching all the events unfold. And she had to keep like being like Trevor, because I keep going like, that's the pizza place I used to go. Right. It's just like, can you
fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So in school, were you academically bored?
Well, yeah, I mean, I got shit grades. I
mean, obviously you're brilliant. So.
Oh, well, I don't. It wasn't that obvious.
It was you were bored, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, like I didn't care about school. I mean, I really like early on realized that all I cared about was like if you grow up on the road, and you don't. There's no stability,
right?
So you don't.
They're also in a way, and I guess it's called stability, but it's also like it's precarious in a way because you don't have like for example, because I was on the road all the time, not like your parents, but I remember once I had a kid, we had Shabbat dinner every Friday night. So it's like at least they know one night of the week what the fuck is going on. You know what I mean? So there's sort of you don't have anything to look forward to because you don't know what the fuck is next. Right?
Well, there's a feeling of helplessness and really dependence on your parents because like, nothing it's not your town. Like, so you grew up in this place where it's like, well, if I lose sight of them, I don't know how to get, I don't know what is going on. I don't know what this place is. The other thing is that you have to like, because you're just meeting new kids every day. So it's like every church or anything you're playing at, like it's whatever kids are there, the kids of the pastor or the kids of whoever, like that's who your friends are for the day. So you have to rely on being funny to make friends quick, or you're just not going to have friends. So then, so I kind of at a very early age, I was like, I put a lot of importance on being funny.
Of course, it's the only way to like disarm people and get them, and it's a total defense. It's a weapon and a defense mechanism. Yeah,
absolutely. So my by the age of 8, like me kind of arriving at school, I was more into being funny than anything else, and it was something that I was. I thought I was good at. And so I was like, I wanted to do that as a career before I knew how that would be. Right. So like I remember when I like turned 15 or 16, I got as soon as I got my like learner's permit, I went into town and into Charlottesville and got a public access, show.
This week's episode of It's Judy Show with Judy Gold is sponsored by BetterHelp. And if you know me, which I think you do because you're listening to my podcast right now, you know that I am a big advocate for therapy. I think it benefits everyone. I think there's so many people who need it, who don't partake. It is so important for your emotional health and well-being. Therapy is fantastic. It is in every stretch of the imagination. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, please do it. But please give BetterHelp a try. It is entirely online. It's designed to be convenient. It's flexible. It suits your schedule. You fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. I have switched therapists in my life. I've had many, many therapists, and sometimes it's not a great fit for you, but don't give up. Therapy is beneficial. You can learn about yourself, you can process, and just be emotionally healthy. I'm telling you, do it. BetterHelp is great because, when I used to schlep to my therapist's office, it was so annoying. You have to do it, and you sit there and you wait. And then I'm telling you, doing it online is fantastic. And BetterHelp is amazing. I know a lot of people who've used it. So if you're thinking about therapy, go to betterhelp.com. Let the gratitude flow. This is Gratitude Month, people. So you need to let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Judy Gold, JUDYGOLD, today, and you will get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Judy Gold. You're welcome. There must have been so many sycophants around your parents, that in a way you were observing human behavior like that most people were not exposed to. I mean, especially children. You're seeing like, wait, these people like my parents because they're singer. Oh, we're getting treated like this because my parents are performers. Oh, this guy,
right.
Did any of that sort of seep into you, you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, but I would say that I don't think I didn't think it was weird. Right. I thought it was, I had nothing else to base it on. So I was, so I also I only thought, I didn't think about this in any extent, except that I was like, oh, well, I guess I got to figure out something to do on stage when I'm adult. That's how I figured people made a living.
Right. Wow.
So it was like, well, I gotta, what am I going to do on stage to make money?
Yeah. Cause I'm not doing this fucking Christian crap.
Right.
Sorry. Oh, I'm offended. So by the time you were 12, you had a comic strip, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was called Cuddy the Cow. And it was about a cow. When I was a kid, so we'd be on the bus and I would draw a lot.
Right.
And I would always try to draw jokes. And my parents, I didn't really have much of an allowance, but my parents would give me 10 cents for every Bible verse I could memorize.
Oh, God.
And I would be tested at the beginning of the month.
10 cents?
Yeah.
At least for the bar mitzvah, you get, you learn the portion, you get thousands of dollars. It's a whole down payment on life. All right.
I love the bell. Now that I know the bell, I love it. But then even that, I would just scan the Bible and try to learn the shortest. I still know 2 Chronicles 4:14 is the stands in their basins. That's it. That's the Bible verse. I get 10 cents for that. It's just describing a temple or something like that.
Right.
So I can make money that way. And then the other way I could make money is if I made a comic, if I drew a picture that would make my parents laugh. But I had to make them laugh. Yeah. So I was
want to make them laugh in Christian land, in conservative Christian.
That's true. Yeah. You got to play to your audience. Yeah. And so as a kid, in retrospect, as I'm talking about it now, it seemed like they were just trying to create a comedy person.
Right. They were creating a monster, but yeah.
So I would just sit on the bus and just draw, jokes, comics and turn them in. If I saw a toy I wanted, I'd be like, well, I gotta write 50 jokes for that, or I gotta do this. Right. And so I'd turn them in. And they weren't polite about it either. They'd get it and they'd be like, nah, and then okay, that one's funny.
Proud.
Yeah. So after a while, they were very supportive, in whatever my sister and I wanted to do. I think they wished it went more of a Christian route. So then at a certain point, they self-published a book that I did,
right.
And then you know, from
when you were 15, right?
Yeah. But like, but then I like got, you know, but from doing these things, they started sending them to newspapers as well. And a couple of newspapers started paying me like they'd give me like $75 a week to like,
you're like, fuck these 10-cent Bible verses.
well, it's also like, fuck school.
Yeah.
Like,
this shit.
Yeah. I mean, I only had like 3 papers that carried my strip, but it was like, that adds up when you're a kid.
Yeah,
like
hello?
Yeah.
I got a fucking comic. I got a whole thing going, you motherfucker.
Yeah. I was the richest kid I knew.
Did they ever talk about other religions or anything? Like, were you insulated pretty much?
Yeah. No, I mean, you never really
like,
heard
are Jews evil? Are we evil, Jews?
No, just not talked about. No, and actually not even like evil, like because you know, the chosen people, like, you know, like that's the Christian, that's the Christianity, like, you know, it was no, Jews were very positive.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're so positive. I can't even tell you. I mean, we're the most positive people I fucking ever met.
They just didn't believe in the main guy. That was the thing.
Right. I mean, we believe he existed. We're just not into the like. Okay, really?
You don't think you didn't think he was the guy?
We don't think he was the guy. You know, we have talk about a tough crowd. We're like, okay, great guy, definitely a prophet, not the Messiah. All right, we're gonna wait. We like waiting. We like waiting. So you graduate the Covenant School and you go to, like, did you go to the prom or do any normal shit?
Yeah, we had a prom.
And you went?
I went, but I went with like an ex-girlfriend, like, which is lame.
Right. I didn't even go. I was fucking gigantic. I was over 6 feet tall and a big lesbo, but no one knew that. And I just didn't even, no one even asked me. Go fuck.
Do you regret not going? Because I was kind of like, do I go? Like, I thought it was dumb, but then I was like, I'm going to go just because I don't want to regret not going. And so I invited my ex-girlfriend.
I never fit in and I didn't do, so I never, like, now that I know, like now that you're older and you're like, all it is people getting dressed up and fucking eating fake fancy food. It's like stupid. It's a photo. Now I was never into that.
Yeah.
Like
I went to Taco Bell.
Oh, I love Taco Bell. I fucking love Taco Bell.
I went to Taco Bell and everyone was giving me shit about it. They were like, you took your prom date to Taco Bell? I was like, she fucking dumped me. What do I care? Yeah, go fuck
yourself. And by the way, I have a cartoon in 3 papers and I'm making a shitload of money, you motherfucker. So when you left and you went to Virginia Commonwealth, but you wanted to study journalism and political science and you love history, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
But instead you studied film, or did you study that stuff at Virginia Commonwealth and then go to School of Visual Arts and study film?
Yeah, well, so I like, you know, I didn't know. I mean, I was a huge fan of David Letterman as a kid.
Yeah.
And I didn't know like how to do comedy. So I just kind of looked up what he studied. Right. And he was in journalism. So I was like, I'll do journalism. And my like high school job was I was the camera guy for the 11 o'clock news at like the NBC affiliate in town.
Right. It says that when you were in my notes, 16 years old, you had a public access show.
Yeah.
The Trevor Moore show. It ran on public access in Virginia. You thought it was going to be on at night, but it was on during the day. Right.
Well, no, I mean, it's a little. So I did a so when I turned 15 or 16, I went in and I got like a public access, you know, certificate so I could like do a show. And Charlottesville is also like a college town. It's where UVA is.
Right.
And so my show got really popular with the college crowd.
Of course.
Which was rad. I'd get like invited to like college parties and stuff like when I was in like high school. And so then I did that with my friends for, you know, a couple years, but we would be on the cover of the newspaper. Like, you know, like the town like knew about the show and was into it. And then I went to VCU to do journalism. And while I was there, Do you remember something called PAX Television?
Oh yeah, that Christian thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So PAX Television, it was usually just like reruns of Touched by an Angel and stuff like that.
Right. She's a big Christian,
She's married to the Survivor guy.
I know she's married to the guy who made Trump, Mark Burnett.
Yeah, Mark Burnett. Yeah,
who made Trump president. Yeah,
and
him, that motherfucker. Yeah.
So the PAX. There's a couple of Virginia PAX TV affiliates were owned by this guy who saw that my show was kind of popular in that area, and so he bought it, and he was like, "I'll give you, I think it was like $1,500 a week or a month to."
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're fucking raking it in. Yeah.
So I quit college and I went and I started doing. I hired all my friends who were like working at grocery stores and stuff, and I was like, "Hey, let's go do this show." So we did it, but then I was like into like drugs at that point and stuff. So I was like, so I was like not doing, it was kind of like, I was just kind of experimenting with like the format and doing like weird stuff in it. And that's what was being aired also in the mornings on like a PAX TV affiliate. And so I got canceled from that. But at that point I had saved up enough money to go to New York and go to college for film.
So you had some funny segments. Who died today?
Yeah, I went to an old folks home, like a senior center, and I did a morning show called Hey Hey Who Died Today, where we just check all the rooms and see who is still alive. But we actually filmed it. It's kind of messed up when I think about it, because we'd film it at a senior center, and like I'd go and I'd be like, "Hey, can we get footage of you for this?" But like probably these people are all senile and they have families that are watching, like, and I'm like, doing like jokes with them and stuff. So
fucking hilarious. You end up going to School of Visual Arts, and while you're there, you meet your cohorts for the whitest kids, but you also get a personal internship at SNL for a semester that they extend for an entire year. Can you? Yeah, that was fucking.
Oh, that was like that kind of like changed my life a little bit. The trick to that, by the way, if you're not, if you don't come from a good school or like a lot of money, is I had I was still in the summers I was going back home and working in Virginia, and I got this I got this interview for this job I got 2 interviews through my school, which was Conan O'Brien and Lorne Michaels.
Right.
And so I was like, I got to do this. So I got on a Greyhound bus to go up to New York. It's like an 8-hour thing. And I cut it so close that like I was like running there. Like I, had a backpack and everything. I got to the interview and I smell like a bus. I've been on a bus for 8 hours. And when they were like talking to me, I mentioned that I just got off the bus, and they were like, "Oh, where'd you come from?" And I was like, Charlottesville, Virginia. And they were like, "How far is that?" And I was like, "This is about 8 hours." And they're like, "You came 8 hours for this interview?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they gave it to me on the spot. Like they were just like, they were like, "Well, you can have it." Like, kind of, and I got both of them. So then I had to choose between the Conan O'Brien or the Lorne Michaels one.
Good choice. I love Conan, but
well, it was great because
you love sketch. That's so.
Yeah. I was like, I really liked sketch, and I was like, I want to learn. And so what was fantastic about it was like for a year, I got to be like there, and I would just take all the scripts, so I would see, like, I'd get the scripts on Tuesday, and I'd look at them, and then I'd see them how they changed on Wednesday,
right?
And then I'd see how they changed every day up until the thing. And it was like, oh, well, this is funny, or this is funny. Or like, and it was kind of like the greatest sketch writing class you could have.
Right. Like, it's like going to graduate school for sketch writing. Were you there for the, when they did the read-throughs on Monday?
Yeah, I mean, no, I wasn't in the room, so I was like collecting but I was the kid that, so it was Will Forte and Fred Armisen's first year.
Wow.
And they were, so I was there for their auditions.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was the kid that was basically, I'd knock on their doors as they're like pacing around in the dressing room and super nervous. And I'd be like, Mr. Armiston, you have 10 minutes till you're on. There's two people ahead of you and then you're on. Like, that was my job, like kind of thing.
What year was that?
That was 2003 or 2002. Yeah.
Because I was a writer producer on the Rosie O'Donnell show.
Yes.
And we were on the same floor.
Yeah.
And I would go in the studio all the time and we shared some people too. And it was fucking great. I mean, I love being in that studio. There's something magical on that floor.
That whole building is I mean, so like, when I got out of the
you went to become on the page, right?
The
page program.
I had a letter. I mean, like I had a letter from Lorne Michaels. I mean, Lorne Michaels never talked to me, but I had a letter signed from him that was like, let this kid into the page program. You
got asked to stay, right?
Yeah.
Which is not normal. Most kids only get the one semester. How did that happen? Like, did who told you? And were the other kids like so fucking pissed off? Like, oh, Trevor gets to stay?
No, the thing that I was told when I got there was somebody took me aside and was like, don't let them know you do sketch. Because I had my troupe at that point.
Right.
Like we had already started Whitest Kids and we were like playing around town. They're like, don't let them know you do sketch.
Right.
Keep your head down.
Right.
And just be invisible. And like, that was
best advice you ever got.
And that's what I did. And then afterwards they were like, yeah, we're going to renew it. Like, we like that kid. He wasn't, we hardly knew he was there, but he did all the stuff we wanted. And like, he didn't, try to put himself in anything or so
you had already met Zach Kreger. Is that his name? Kreger?
Yep. Kreger.
And Sam Brown. And you were already working and you got this job. And were they like, dude, what the fuck? Were they must have been freaking the fuck out.
No, not really. No one.
Wow.
It was just sort of like, it was kind of like, I think if anything, it was annoying. It was like, you got to do what tonight?
Oh, really?
It was, they liked, I mean, I would get them into shows. Like they would get to go see Saturday Night Live, which was cool.
And by the way, the best kept secret is that the dress rehearsal of SNL is way better than the live show. Don't you think?
Way funnier.
So funnier. It's longer. That's, those, you see skits they don't see on the live show.
You know Eric Slovin and Leo Allen?
Yeah.
Okay. So it was their first year as writers.
Yeah.
And they wrote the funniest fucking sketches, and they would never make it to air. But it was always like the dress rehearsal was like all the weird stuff.
Right.
And so you'd watch that and the stuff that all the pages and the interns and all the kids were like laughing at so hard. We would always be like, that's never making it to air. Right. The stuff that made you laugh the most, you're like, they're not going to air that.
Right. Oh, I believe me, I've written on a lot of shows, and that is like, let's just give it in, but it's never going to make it.
Yeah, you're like, that's too funny for television.
Right. Thank you so much for listening to part 1 of Kill Me Now with the incredibly talented Trevor Moore. I have a little crush, I have to admit. Kill Me Now is produced by Laura Vogel, edited by Colin Schmaling. The podcast would not be possible without the help of Brittany Jo Sowards. Now, if you're listening to the end of my closer right now, then you're either can't find the shut off button on your device or you love me, which means you should have my book. Yes, I can say that when they come for the comedians, we're all in trouble. You should be or have seen Hysterical, the film on Hulu. You should also check out my website, judygold.com. Come see me perform in Provincetown, Massachusetts, on Cape Cod. There's just so many things you should know about me because I am really important. Anyway, no. So check it out. Follow me on Twitter at Judy Gold, JEWDYGOLD. Instagram at Judy Gold, JEWDYGOLD. And that's it. I'm just so thankful that you're all listening. Please stay safe. We are having a bit of an outbreak here in Provincetown, but we're being very safe. And if you want to come to my show, you have to be vaccinated and wear a mask, okay? If you're not vaccinated, there's something fucking wrong with you, okay? Unless you have some immune problem or something like that prevents you from getting vaccinated. You're an asshole if you're not vaccinated. You're just a selfish asshole. It's called science. It's called like actually taking care of your neighbor and your other people. And it's not all about you, okay? So that's my big speech. Thank you all so much for listening. Part 2 is next week, and it's great. So I love you all. And as we always say, so long.
Don't forget to tune in next week to Just Kill Me Now.
It's Just Kill Me.
Oh. Don't forget to turn for part 2 on Just Kill Me.
No, it's not. It's
Just Kill Me.
No.
Judy Gold's Just Kill Me.
Just.
Just Kill Me Now.